This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Glad you're with us back here on the Bryan Moore Show, presented by Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika, along with Coach Bryan Moore. I'm Van Riggs, and Coach, well, congratulations on a big win in the region play. Tough place to go to win is at Dothan, especially against a good team like that. And I mean, really, offensively and defensively, a good game.
Yeah, I mean, proud of our progress. I think, there were things to fix, obviously, like every game that we, go and pour over. And, we didn't start very fast in the game, but I thought we recovered nicely. We gave up the first score of the game after kind of an issue as far as a return. But our kids rallied after that. And I think without that muff punt, I'm not sure they score, And so really proud of our defensive football team. This is the same team in Dothan that ran for 500 yards against Central. So, I mean, you're talking about they ran for 167 against us. That is quite a feat against that offense. And so, that was as complete as we've been this year. We were not perfect in the kicking game, but we did have some bright moments, to where we did some things well. We continue to punt it well. Zion is really playing well. Reese is still clean on his PAT field goal. Snaps and holds have been really good. They were actually our players of the week, Cam Rayleigh and Kyle Epperson, players of the week this week for special teams. And so, they're doing a really good job. And then offensively, we made some explosives. They kind of got everybody in the box. We talked about that on the show last week. But getting those guys down there and, being able to throw it over their heads some. Jamari had a big catch in the middle of the field, got us down to the 5. He also caught a fade ball that was a huge play in the game. He also ran a 76-yard reverse that was a massive, took the lid off type feel to the run. So really pleased with that. I thought as the game went on, we were able to find balance, though, and run the ball better. And it was good to see us finish. I think we were 3 for 3 in the red zone. So we did some things well as the game went on. We need to start a little bit faster, but shoot, man, in this region, going to Dothan, first win there since 2011, I believe, for us, and first win over the Dothan Wolves, the 7A version. And so really proud of our kids, and another step towards making the playoffs, and then obviously improving your seeding as you go. But proud of the kids, and it was a big momentum deal for our program.
Calvin Hughley usually gets the workload, but it was a lot of different guys getting carries. We saw Jordan Waits carry the ball, and Tommy Johnson down the stretch with a good night.
Yeah, I thought Tommy had a great night, his best night as a Bulldog. He was physical. He looks good. He's about 200 pounds. I mean, he's, for a lot of schools, he'd be their starting running back. And for us, he's had to, get into the mix. And then we're still waiting for Jordan, to kind of be himself. That's going to happen. It's, at some point, he's going to have that breakthrough night. And, and then Blake had a big night. I think Blake had 7 carries and a catch, maybe 2 touchdowns. Blake is such a old school fullback. He came off at one point, I think you guys were talking about on the radio, Blake's coming off, what's going on? He's bleeding everywhere. It's like, this is as old school as it gets, this guy is unbelievable, great with the football. He had the turnover that we'll clean up, and put him with Coach Landers this week and clean up some of the ball security stuff, but he is a weapon down there around the end zone. And
that could be a good intimidation tactic. Just have
like bleeding
blood.
Everywhere. Yeah. He's an outstanding young man, and honestly for us, kind of an unsung hero. He's in the biggest games against Auburn, obviously last week, and then even against Pike Road. Big plays in the game for us, big carries in the game to where, he's tough to tackle at 240 pounds, especially down there in the red area. And so another one I wanted to mention, it's nice to get Darius Whitlow back. Nice to have him back at guard, kind of being himself again and moving people around. So, overall pleased. I think we ran it for 200 yards on the nose, and that was a good night, for us. But again, we need to start a little bit faster, but pleased with our backs. And obviously Calvin also had some catches too. We had a big screen catch. We ran for, 30 or 40 yards, broke 4 or 5 tackles on that play. When he gets to that second, third level, he's a nightmare to bring down at 200 pounds and 4'5", 40 guy. And, I think his stock keeps improving as far as his college, where he's going to end up. But just proud of Calvin, but we need more of that from that backfield for sure.
Yeah, I don't know who was controlling the PlayStation controller when he was on that play, but boy, the jukes, the spins, the hurdle, he does it all.
Stiff arm guy to the ground is awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome to see.
I know in a game like this, the trenches are going to be key, and especially on the offensive side, trying to move the football against some of these guys. A bunch of them, they're going to play in the SEC, some of them at least.
No doubt. This is probably the best defensive football team we've seen this year, that we're getting ready to play. Really top heavy with a few, guys that are really, really high level players, but quality players otherwise as well. 25 to me, obviously everybody, want to talk about winners and you want to talk about Grady, you want to talk about the corner, and you want to talk about those SEC players, but also 25, the Turner kid is a really good player, good interior people, do a great job schematically of kind of, fitting things right and also being very multiple. You don't just line up 6 in one spot at the end and just bomb him knowing where he is. They do a great job of moving him. He'll play some Mike, and then winners will drop down in the box and play some stuff as well. So extremely multiple, extremely well coached there. Runs of the football, play really, really hard, and very opportunistic. You see a bunch of balls being put off guys. I mean, you see 5 come in, any pop run, he's going to yank it. 25 comes in, tries to rip the ball as well. Again, creating turnovers all over the place. And then the problem with 5 is if he gets his hand on the football, getting him on the ground. Because he's played quarterback against Opelika last year. He's going to play some offense. 4 is going to play some offense. And I wouldn't be surprised if 6, the defensive end, doesn't play some offense in this game as big as it is. So, again, we'll have our work cut out for us. But I feel really good about where we are as a football team. The once you win one like we did Friday, the buy-in and again the momentum can really carry you, and I think we've got to ride that wave right now. That belief is growing, in our kids. And I said it on the show last week. I said, man, enough talk. It's time to do it, and we did. And so it's time to do it again. And hey, I cautioned them, early in the week. I said, man, look at Alabama and look at what can happen if you win a big ball game, something that you get really, really up for and then have that letdown emotionally. It just can't happen. Like, what have we proven yet? What have we done yet? Let's stay on, let's stay hungry, and stay after it on that grind, man, and make our team as good as it can, because this team coming in Friday's better than the one we played last Friday. I mean, and they've got more playmakers, more explosive pieces that if you're not right, they'll hurt you real quick. So, again, we're going to have to play better and keep improving as we go through it.
Yeah, the one thing this Enterprise team did in their last win against Carver was they had the ball with 6 minutes to go in the game, and Carver never got the ball back. They did a really good job of controlling the game and running that clock.
99 yards worth. I mean, I watched. I was at the game. They got a goal line stand. Carver snapped it 3 or 4 times from inside the 2 or 3 yard line and just couldn't get in. That tells you. And that was to take that lead and maybe win that ball game, and they couldn't punch it in. And then Enterprise, instead of 3 and out and punting and having to go back on defense, shoot methodically 4-minute offense. 9 the cue, controlling the clock like Kobe does. And like we've taught our kids to finish ball games with the ball. And I've been really impressed with all of that as far as clock management. And then, on top of that, man, to add on it, like having some guys that go both ways for Enterprise. They do an incredible job of managing that workload. Because you can, look, I don't care what kind of shape you're in or what level of player you are, because they're really good. There's a certain amount of snaps that you can play in the game before you just can't perform at your potential level. And they do a great job. Coach Blackman does a great job of managing that workload and getting winners in crucial downs and getting 4 in crucial downs. And like I said, I'm expecting 6 in crucial downs, to be in that ball game, but not running them 100 times, and not snapping it 100 times and them on the field, because again, they're going to kick off return stuff, punt block stuff, kick off. They're going to do all that, but he does a great job of managing that pitch count, and I think it makes a difference. And that's what you saw against Carver as how, as to how they finished that ball game.
Yeah, knowing too, like a game like last year, how good Winters could throw the ball too when he was at quarterback. I mean, if he's a wide receiver and catches it, who knows what could happen with the ball.
I mean, it's a scary thing,
right.
As talented as he is. And I mean, look, over the years, I've seen a lot of, kids that were 4 stars or 5 stars. This kid is legit, the Grady kid is too. These are legit 4-star kids. They're not like, well, I went to Rivals camp a bunch and then I got a star because I'm 6'3" and I run really fast, but I'm not a great football player. These are dudes that understand. They just are kids, and I say it a lot, but that grew up throwing the football around. You talking about Winters being able to throw it? That kid's played a bunch of ball in the backyard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's gone out there and been the receiver or been the quarterback or been the DB, and you can just see his instincts and you can see how he takes over ball games. He's done it his entire career. And, again, it's exciting. I tell you this level affords you the opportunity as a coach to see players like this, and I compared, I was on D-Mark's show, and I compared it to Auburn High, in the 12, 13, Reuben, Rashawn. They've got guys like that.
Right.
They've got top-level talent like that if you don't know where they are on every play, they will impact and change that entire ball game. And so, obviously, a huge part of our game plan. But again, they meet on Sundays too. So those coaches are getting those kids in places to make plays too. But really impressed with their team and their personnel as a whole.
I know the Opelika Bulldog fans are going to have a big part in this game Friday night. Coach, I know if you win this game, you could almost wrap up a playoff spot for the first time since Opelika's been a 7A team.
Yeah.
How huge this will be, and I know there's a lot of corporate sponsors out there with tickets that may not be able to make it to the game.
Yeah.
We don't have the transfer turn-in like we do in college,
That's
but
right.
make sure you get it to somebody and pack out Bulldog Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just so excited about the atmosphere because, we played some big games, but not like this, and no offense to any of the teams we played, but with what's on the line, too, and the rivalry-ish, I guess, as far as playing Enterprise a long time. We played them almost every year that I was here before, and always close, always. Didn't matter if it was 10-7 or 45, whatever. It was always a close ball game, and that's the way it'll be again Friday night. But we need our crowd. I mean, truthfully, the Opelika people, we need you, and we need you. I noticed it at Dothan the other night. Big third down, big fourth down, people getting up and yelling, and Billy Jones leading the charge up there in the stands, and just really appreciate everybody and need them. They understand. I need the community to understand, our kids feel it. You can feel it. When you're down there, all of you are on top of us. You can feel energy like that. And when the band and Mr. Wagner's roots rolling and Coach Johnson and all them and the cheerleaders are rolling, it creates this energy that maybe, you find something deep inside yourself you didn't know was there. That little drop of energy that's left after the 60th play that gets a stop for us. So we need our people. We need our students. We need everybody there early and just create an incredible environment because, once again, this whole thing's about the experience for kids. And what an incredible experience for our seniors to go out there in front of our home crowd and hopefully get a big win, and seal or get close to sealing up a playoff berth at home in Bulldog Stadium. It just would be an incredible night, and I appreciate everybody for coming out, and I know it'll be packed Friday.
Yeah, and the weather looks good too,
Awesome.
So no excuses. So pack
That's
it
right.
out Friday night, Bulldog Stadium. We'll continue with more here on the Bryan Moore Show. We're going to talk receivers here for the Bulldogs right after this timeout here on the Bryan Moore Show. Back here on the Bryan Moore Show, presented by Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika. Van Riggs alongside. We've got Coach Jackson Billings and Jamie Ferguson, and we've also got special guest wide receivers Brody Jones and Jamari Miller. And coaches, we'll start with you guys. Talk about these wide receivers, and I know this is just a few of them that are here. And Coach Ferguson, we'll start with you. I know the wide receiving group's been pretty good this year.
Yeah, we got a really good group. We have two of our seniors with us today, Brody Jones and Jamari Miller. Really proud of both these two guys. They really are really good leaders for our football team as a whole, but they actually also really show what it's supposed to be a leader for these younger guys that we have behind them at receiver. So, we're really blessed to have these two, and they perform really well on Friday nights too. That helps.
Coach Billings, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know, and how you wound up here at Opelika, and just talk about your coaching background.
Yes, sir. Obviously, young guy, just 22, so I'm new to this. Just got done playing at Auburn the past 4 years. I thought I was going to end up in the college scene. That didn't quite work out, but it worked out for the best. I'm so happy to be here. It's been nothing short of amazing, and again, these two guys make it really easy, really fun to be here. And beyond just these two, the whole group, ton of talent, ton of guys that are just super fun to be around. And so always wanted to be a coach, always wanted to do it at the highest level in high school. And so to be here at this young of an age, I'm just super blessed to be here. I'm super fortunate, and I love it, every day of it.
All right, we'll get a couple questions for the guys. First, we'll start with you, Jamari. You've got to let me know where the nickname Fat came from. So kind of give us a little background on that.
When I was a baby, I was kind of fat, so that's where my nickname come from.
So it's been around for a while.
Yes, sir.
All right, big play. I know you've been running the ball and making big plays for the Bulldogs. Is there a play that stands out so far this season? I know you've had a couple the past few weeks.
The play from Smith Station, it was like an 80-yarder. Brody had 2 knockdowns on that play, I think. Yeah. So that's my favorite one, yeah.
All right. Any others that stand out?
This past Friday, I had a long run, I think. I don't know, I just hit a burst, and Brody was blocking on that play too, so that was a good play.
So running or catching, which one is your preference if it had to come down to it?
Probably catching.
Yeah. All right, now Brody, we'll pass the mic over to you. I know you probably got to go back to the Auburn game for maybe your highlight catch of your career.
Yes, sir. I mean, it was just, to be honest, Kobe probably should have ran it in, but when you threw the ball in the air, I just knew I had to go get it. So, I mean, it was a good throw. The only place that the ball could have been for me to get it, so it just happened to work out.
You had a big fumble recovery maybe in that game as well, didn't you?
Yes, sir. There was a lot of things going down in the bottom of that pile that I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I just had to get that ball back because you're just not going to take a ball away from me.
One of the most aggressive wide receivers probably Opelika's ever had, or at least in my recent memory. And Brody, I know one big thing you do that a lot of people may not notice on the field is blocking downfield on some of these big runs. I know you enjoy that.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's just the way that I play football. It's just, I mean, I'm not the fastest, but I'm not like him. He's more explosive than me, but I'd rather him get all the catches and me be able to block for him because he deserves it. And
Jamari, a question to you. I know because you have really worked on that part of your game this year is blocking downfield in the run game.
Yes, sir. No, last year I didn't really block that much, but Coach been on to me a lot, so I got to make it happen.
Yeah, just one of those things you got to do, right?
Yes, sir.
And even when the guys behind you, like Calvin, and they're making those big runs, it makes it worth it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. First off, what do you think about the game Friday night against Enterprise? I know they've gotten us the past couple of years. I know you guys are ready to go, right?
Yes, sir. We were excited about it. It was just, it has to be done. We want to get to the big stage, so we're doing whatever it takes.
All right, Coach Ferguson, I know you've been around a while. I mean, you know how these games are, and then in this region, you really can't slip up and lose one. You may be at home.
That's right. And you know, the region we're in, there's 6 teams that are really, really good, like top 10 teams. So 2 of those teams are going to be sitting at the house, and unfortunately, the last couple of years, it's been us. And these guys, these seniors, this senior group, like, they've really been working, and we've always worked, but we've worked tremendously hard. You know, a lot more about us as opposed to everybody else since February, and it's showing up on Friday nights, and it's got to continue to show up this Friday night. I'm really excited to see what happens with this group because I think it's going to be electric. You know, we got really good receivers that are here, and our running backs are running really hard. Our linemen are doing great things. Defense played probably their best game they've played in years last week. Special teams have been really good. I feel really good about this team. I think it's a special team that can do special things, and we've been trying to get these guys to, we as coaches see it, to get these kids to buy in, to understand, hey, you have everything you need to do what we want to do, which is get to the last game. And I don't think any of us want to make any bones about it. That's our goal.
Right.
We want to get to the last one and win it.
Brody, any message to the fans out there that may be sitting on the fence, maybe decide whether or not they're going to come to the game Friday night?
You got to come. I mean, it's going to be a great game, be a great atmosphere. They got dudes, we got dudes, but to be honest, I take my dudes over anybody in the country. So you got to come out, show out support.
And Coach Billings, I know you're familiar with this Enterprise team there, and you know the task at hand is going to be a tough one.
Yes, sir. A lot of big-time players, probably some of the best individual guys that we've seen all year, probably some of the best we'll see throughout the year. And so, but again, like Brody said, we've got guys too, and I trust these guys more than anybody that I've seen. And so I'm excited just to go out there to war with them, be there every step of the way, and go get the job done.
All right, don't forget Coach Moore's luncheon on Thursday. First Baptist Church Opelika starts at noon, 316 Center. Make sure and make your plans to be there. I know we're going to have some special guests this week. I think Coach Moore said the scout team guys will be in attendance eating lunch, so it'll be an interesting side to see. So noon to 1, again, at First Baptist Church in the 316 Center this Thursday, and make sure you're in Bulldog Stadium. Friday night, Dogs take on Enterprise at 7 o'clock, and we'll see you back next week right here on The Bryan Moore Show.